What do you think of them?
Wow. No, they're nice. It's just like the bottoms are.
Their bottoms are a little extreme.
They're huge, right? Jack, what do you think?
They're good.
There we go. Confirmed. Hey team, welcome back to another Levi's Save the World Hildebrand episode, the channel where we prove that you don't need to be a hero to save the planet. Today, we're going to be talking about the new Allbirds Dashers, which are possibly one of the most innovative, sustainable running shoes that I have seen on the market to date. Full disclosure, I am a fan of Allbirds. I am biased, and I have an affiliate link down in the description of this video that sends a small kickback to what I am doing here if you do decide to make a purchase. So bear that bias in mind. Speaking of bias, before we get into the technical aspects of the shoe itself, I want to give you my perspective of where I'm coming from as a runner. I am not a fast runner, I am not a religious runner, and no, I will probably not be doing a challenge video to get Casey Neistat to run with me. This is largely due to a heart condition that I've had for a number of years that makes exercising in general a little more complicated, but it's also because Leah and I don't have a very predictable schedule, so I kind of have to run whenever I get the chance to. For example, just this last week, Leah's family and I hosted an elaborate surprise convocation celebration for Leah here in the backyard. We set up the whole backyard for a socially distanced celebration and then surprised her with the official ceremonial gowns from our university. After a congratulatory Zoom call with her committee, she got a procession down into the backyard in front of our friends and family. There was an MC and an official, unofficial degree in a frame that we printed off of the internet. We had a trained opera singer sing the national anthem. She even got to give an acceptance speech for her degree. Needless to say, it was a pretty special Sunday. And as you can imagine, I wasn't doing a lot of running at the time. So when we arrived here in Nanaimo, these shoes were sitting here waiting for me in the box that they were shipped in, which is one of my favorite parts about Allbirds, is they don't overly package their shoes. The shoe box that holds the shoes is also the shoes that they are shipped in. Now, I've only had these shoes for about 2 weeks, but I've ran about 8 times in them so far. I've been running on a bunch of different terrain, from the side of the road to dirt trails, all the way to rock hopping along the beach. But first I want to break down what I liked and disliked about these shoes. Now, I've been a runner and I've played sports my whole life, but I've never gotten deep into running shoes. These are my last pair, and I honestly don't even know what brand they are. These are the Saucony Guide 4s. I don't know, they're a pretty mid-level running shoe, and they've done pretty well for me so far, despite being a little bit tight for my feet. As you can see, there is some damage to these shoes. They have been worn pretty well over the last couple of years. But just so you know, this is what I had in terms of my previous pair, and that's what I'll be basing my understanding on for this pair. But let's break down what I like about these shoes, since that's why you're here. The first thing that I noticed with these shoes, and what you will notice too if you ever own a pair, is how incredibly comfortable they are. Right from day one, I put my feet into these shoes and they were really comfortable, which I can't say of my old pair of runners. I was able to run my standard 45-minute run with these things, having never worn them before, with no issues. They're really light and they have a huge cushiony bottom, which they should, based on how big this thing is. And I would say that of all of the running shoes that I've ever had, these look the best. One downside that I have noticed with these shoes, and it's the biggest that I have overall, is the support for the shoe itself, they are quite bendy, but this may actually have more to do with the sizing issue. See, my feet are like an awkward 11 3/4 / 12 1/2, depending on what company I'm with. And with Allbirds, I found that their shoes are a little bit small on me, so I always get a size bigger. But that does mean that these are a little bit roomier than I would have liked, and that means that they slide around quite a bit when I am running on more technical terrain. If you're not a trail runner and you don't see yourself doing quick decisions back and forth while you're on a run, then these shoes are gonna be fine. And for most of the stuff that I normally do, these are great. But here in Nanaimo, I have some amazing running trails through different islands and across beaches and stuff, and these just didn't feel quite as rigid as I would have liked for that kind of terrain. But how do these shoes fit into the equilibrium? Now, if you've been around on this channel for a while, you know that I have a very strict criteria of how and why I show certain brands to you, and that is being called the equilibrium, or the I don't want my planet to die angle, which was coined by members of the team. Allbirds fits this criteria extremely well. And no, I'm not going to run and vlog at the same time. That would be obnoxious. But I am going to take you to one of my favorite running spots around here to break down why I think that these shoes are an incredible pair of runners. When it comes to quality, Allbirds so far has been pretty good. I've only owned one other pair of Allbirds for about a year, and this is what they look like right now. I gave them a quick clean before I made this video, and honestly, they've been one of my go-to pairs of shoes for the entire time that I've owned them. Running shoes get put through a lot more abuse, so it'll be interesting to see how these things wear and tear over the years. But if anything is to be said for their previous pairs, they should do all right. 2, branding. Most running shoes, in my opinion, are hideous. These horribly neon patterned running shoes, and I would far prefer something sleek and subtle that I can just use to get the job done, and these bad boys do that. And from a sustainability standpoint, these shoes are, as I said at the beginning, one of the most outstanding pairs of shoes that I've seen in quite a long time. They employ all of the regular tricks from the Allbirds wheelhouse. They have Tencel wood fiber uppers combined with their merino wool for a bit of cushion. Their soles are made out of their patented sweep foam material, which is actually derived from sugarcane. And they have FSC certified rubber soles to give them an extra bit of durability. The only bit of plastic on these shoes is the laces themselves, and they are made from one single recycled pop bottle. But what Allbirds has been really leaning into with this recent release is their efforts towards carbon neutrality. In the sole of every pair of Dashers is a sticker with 9.0 printed on it. That is the equivalent amount of CO2 that is emitted to create and dispose of these shoes over their entire life course. But that figure 9.0 also indicates something else. A 30% decrease in overall emissions from these shoes in comparison to the industry standard for something of this style. On top of all of this, Allbirds is a carbon neutral company, meaning that they pay to offset the amount of carbon that is produced from their productions across their entire supply chain. Now, obviously, carbon offsetting is not a perfect solution. It doesn't really address the real problem, which is us creating more stuff and creating more waste and more carbon that gets put into the atmosphere. But for a company that has the social presence and the clout within the industry that Allbirds does, making a statement to become carbon neutral is an incredibly powerful move. Along with this, there has been a very exciting public announcement that Allbirds and Adidas are going to be teaming up to create, quote, the world's most sustainable shoe. Basically, the idea is that Allbirds is providing the technical innovation, and then Adidas' role is to sustainably manufacture at scale. So we'll see where that goes, but for now, we have to enjoy what we have right now from Allbirds. But in conclusion, I would say that these are pretty good running shoes, and they're better for the planet as well. So if you are interested in picking up a pair, please consider using the affiliate link down in the description of this video, because a small kickback from that goes to supporting what I do here on this channel. There are very few brands out there that are willing to make sustainability a big part of their mission statement, and Allbirds is one of them. And on top of this, they make really good products, so if you need a pair of shoes, please understand that that is only if you need a pair. Do not buy a pair of running shoes just because I said that they were great. Buy them if you need them. But regardless of your shoe situation, I want to thank you for watching this video, for taking the time out of your day to spend some time with me, because I really appreciate that. And if you are subscribed to this channel, which you very much should be, then we will see you in the next one.